Just moving that out of the way. How much is too much or too little? We've never had, in my family never had a lot of money. We always had enough, or it felt like enough. I don't feel as though I went without as a kid at all. I don't feel as though I was deprived of anything. I didn't have designer things. In fact, I didn't even know what size I wore for years, because until I probably got to high school or university even, which is really pretty amazing, because my mom made a lot of my clothes. It was a real skill that she had. She made the most beautiful first formal that I had, that I went to a prom with, and it had a white, it was a white lace dress, but it also had a white wool coat, long, that went over it. And I remember I had flowers in my hair, and it was a beautiful dress. So my mom made most of my clothes for me as I was growing up. We didn't go on lavish holidays. In fact, a lot of the holidays that we spent were summers. We spent a lot of days over at friends who had pools in their backyard, and we'd bring over food as well. And I remember it as being a really nice and a happy childhood in that way. I went to camp. I went to camp in Michigan, someplace called Van Buren Youth Camp, which is still going, I gather, and delighted to say so. And I can't remember how much it cost for a week there, but it wasn't very much. And I remember that particular camp, one of the very first times that I went, we had 1 or 2 nights with special needs kids staying with us. I had known special needs kids because they had been integrated into our classrooms over the years, although there were special schools even at that time, but there were, but they came and stayed with us in our cabins and had a couple of nights. And I didn't feel put out, or they were just kids, just like us. And they all wanted to have a good time. When I became an adult and started earning money on my own, I always had enough. Not vast quantities, and there were a couple of times that I got really close to having what I would have called quite a lot of money from my jobs. I never overcharged people for what I did, and it always, you wanted people to, and I did realize that people always, it was better if people actually paid for your services than to get them free, because it would have more value if it was paid for, even minimally. Ooh, excuse me. Gosh. Let's just drop things on the floor. Oh, been that kind of a day, really. So we've got all of these things that we not doing without. And thinking about the recent election in the United States and how many millionaires and billionaires that there are in the world, and what they're doing to help people or themselves, is, when you think that there are in the first row of the inaugural, there were a group of men who could actually put an end to childhood and world poverty if they put their minds to it, and still have billions left over. They could make sure that people didn't go hungry, but they don't. It's been a really weird day. I've watched way too much news today, and I must kind of stop doing that because it's not doing, well, I say I must stop doing that, but being realistic, I'm not going to stop doing it. And we are in the midst of probably the scariest time of my life, of anybody's life. Watching history repeat itself, not feeling that there's nothing I can do because, one, I have this platform, I can do it, and you can choose to watch and listen or not. It's not something I will do every day, but today I heard about someone giving up their job because they were not going to toe the party line. There have been times I've given up jobs because I wouldn't say black was white. I was called obstreperous. I was called, you can't believe that I would do that. You know me, you can't believe that I would do that, they would say to me. Someone would say to me, not very often, having known that they just did. The word that's gotten me in trouble more times than not is when I say no. No is such a good word. I think it's a word that we ought to all practice when you get up in the morning. Just say no. Kind of cryptic, ain't it? Sorry about that. It's been a very odd day. But there's always beauty in the day, too. And my corner of the universe has been a little hot, a little bit wet and cold, rather. And I felt a little insular today, which is never a good thing. And watching something that you care about destroy itself. It's really hard. Hug somebody that you love. Have a considered and have a wonderful day. And don't forget to practice saying that word no, so that when the time comes, it will come out of your mouth immediately. You won't have to think. Have a good one.